Hello.
Hello, Jen?
Yep.
Yes, sir. This is Izzy from MMA Jam Live. How are you this evening?
Yeah. What's going on? I'm good. How are you?
How's it going? Pretty good, pretty good.
I'm all right.
It's an honor having you
Oh,
on,
please.
sir.
Well, thank you for having the time to quit with that shirt business. I'm just out here at the kids wrestling tournament right now, so no, what's going on?
Nothing much. Just figured I'd call you, see how you're doing, and ask you a couple of questions here.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get right into it. You made your pro debut at the second Boss Rutan Invitational on April 24th, 1999. Excuse me. How long before or after that fight did you realize that MMA was something you wanted to do?
I think I started realizing it when I was still at Boise State University, and my senior year, I was always missing that ability. I loved wrestling. I mean, it saved my life, but lacking the punching, because I always wanted to be a boxer, you know what I mean? And once I started watching the UFC, then I seen Randy Couture, and I started seeing these wrestlers doing it. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what I'm doing. So that's what I want to do right there. It's kind of like I always wanted to be a boxer. I always wanted to be, quote unquote, a boxing world champ. But then I seen this, and I'm like, ooh, okay, this is boxing with training wheels. If I don't like it, I can take them down. I can, I can use my wrestling. So I'm going to do this. And it was just one of those things, because the wrestling world, it's so finite to go in there and, 8 spots on a national team, and if you can make the top 3 spots, you can make it. You can continue on in wrestling, but for the most part, unless you're coaching at a college or something, wasn't much, there's not much wrestling that you could have done. And so to me, I was like, okay, this is perfect. I want to do this. In fact, my original heavy bag, I don't know if it's still hanging there, but for the longest time, it was still hanging in the wrestling room at Boise State University when I first started. You there?
Yeah, I thought we lost you for a minute, Jen.
Okay.
Sorry about
No,
that.
I don't know, man. Nebraska hates me in my Iowa phone. Can't stand it. So did you hear half that story, or I just tell the whole thing for nothing?
Yeah, we've been having connection issues all day, so it might just be a global thing or a United States thing at the very least.
Yeah, maybe a Verizon thing, because it hates me in Nebraska. I don't know. Does it all the time.
Sounds good. Let's blame Verizon then. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, right. We gotta blame somebody but ourselves. Come on now, that's it. That's the way of the world. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'll say it's me out here, and I'm in a lunchroom at the. I think I'm in Wood River. Got the kids wrestling, so we're watching that, and Josh is coaching.
Awesome stuff. How's he doing?
Oh no, Josh, he's doing good. Tyler won off to his, and I think Bebo. Josh's other kid, he won his first one. I think he's got to wrestle again here in a minute. But we're talking kindergarten and pre-K, so youngsters.
Oh, congratulations on that! I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I wish it was my boy, but I just can't do it unless he wants to wrestle. He's 5 now, so I don't know. He's starting to get into it a little bit, but maybe one of these days I'll wrestle him. But I'm just too protective. He loves iPads. He loves cartoons. I'm like, he's going to be an engineer. He's good.
Nice. Now, at 38 years old and a veteran of 47 pro fights over the last 15 years, what keeps you motivated to continue going through the grind of training and stepping back into the cage?
Well, I think the big word would be right now is if, but like I said, I'm not going to say retire. I just won't fight again. I just won't know. But, I think what kept me going for the biggest part, especially through the struggles, man, the losses and things like that, is I've walked up and I've met, I've been around coaches, and I would go in there, even at current gym, and I say, hey, look at me. Watch me train. Watch me lift. Watch me do my thing, and tell me. If you think I'm old or rickety or my body, my bones just ain't holding up, tell me. And that's just not the case. The case is, mentally, man, I've been my own worst enemy, man. I destroyed myself in the mental world, hung up on, regrets, and, it's just, that's the one thing. So rather than let anxiety and depression and things like that beat me, I've always used athletics. If you go back, look through my life, it's the reason why I got in, in high school, why I managed to graduate high school and then got into college and I managed to graduate college. Wrestling saved my life. And, my brother served 55 years in prison. And then there's my little brother, Baby Abe. He's got a master's in literature, and he wrestled through college. And so it was one of those things for me. I've always used athletics to help me beat the demons that have been pulling at me. And that's what I've been, I was afraid to let go of that because even if I was struggling, even if mentally I'm in a bad place, I used athletics to keep me on the right path, and it's all I've ever known in my life. And I'm very lucky. I've got a wonderful wife. I've got phenomenal kids, Madeline and Carson and Hayden, and it's just I just can't. For me, I became my own worst enemy. And again, I've always used athletics to pick me up, put me on that path, and help me battle through it. And I know. It just got to the point that people are watching me and seeing me lose, and it's just, I'm like, I don't know, I stopped believing in somewhere along the line, and so I felt like if I stopped, anxiety and depression was going to win, and I just couldn't let that happen, so that's what kept pushing me. And it's not a sad tale, I'm not a ooh, woe's me, and I didn't want to be the old man trying to hang on too long. Problem is, man, I can move, I can fight, but if you just knew me mentally, I just am my own worst enemy now. I just can't, I just can't put it together somewhere, somehow. Just can't do it, and I've had people reach out, and I started talking, I started learning and growing a lot more in the last couple of years. So, whether or not I'm done, I'm not going to say, but I am having fun throwing up videos on the website, on the Facebook, and just having fun training. I got 2 kids that are fighting right now that you'll know them. You may not know them yet, but I promise you on everything, because I know world champions, you'll know them. You'll know them real soon. And that's not taken away from Enrique Torres and TJ Hepburn, but these 2 that I go with every day. My 25-pounder, tell you right now, mess with him on the ground. You won't beat him. Nobody will. 145-pounder, 2-time national champion, mess with him. Better get him early, because I'm telling you guys right now, these 2, they're what's making me go, yeah, I can retire. I'm good. I can coach these guys. So I'm learning how to be a coach. And we're starting to build. We're out here. I'm trying to help. I'm volunteering my time in Kearney, and I've just met some pretty cool kids, hungry, ready to go.
Now, is it safe to say that basically, fighters usually don't retire. They just walk away, as you mentioned. Is that something you just, when it's time to go, are you planning to announce it, or are you just going to just ride off into the sunset, so to speak?
There's nothing to announce, man. I'm just done. People say I tarnished my name or whatever. The reality is I won my titles. I failed in one aspect, or I used to think it was failure a lot, with the loss when I had that chance to come back and really, when the sport started getting really big, and I lost when it mattered the most. And then I just started losing dumb things, started losing the dumb things in the process. And it's not about, I just can't, I don't know. I don't want to retire, have everybody do the send-off and then come back. I just can't do that. I just won't do that. And I think it's just fitting. It's fitting to just be done. There's nothing more to say. I'm thankful. I'm lucky. I'm glad Johnny Hendricks made weight. I get to see the Bob do his thing. I love where I came from. Love my team. I love the UFC. I love Dana White and Lorenzo and Frank for the opportunities I've gotten, Monty Cox for managing me, Brian Butler for being my agent. And, there's nothing to say. If I'm allowed in the history books, great. If I'm not, what am I going to, what can I do? There's nothing I can do about it. So it's just, when I'm done, I'm done.
Well, it's definitely, it's good to hear that, you're able to walk away on your own without being forced out. Now, in 2011, a documentary about you was released, obviously titled Jens Pulver Driven. What was the inspiration behind making that documentary?
Here's the thing about that documentary, and somebody just kind of put it out, just said it the other day, and I didn't really think about it until I actually thought about it. And, the reality was, man, I remember when I was a kid, I remember for a fact, I remember verbatim, I remember the moment in that bathroom, huddling there. My mother, she's trying to clean me up. I'm getting beat. My mother's crying. She got beat. My brothers are crying. We were in tears. And this is the kind of thing I used to think it was a weakness. Now I realize it's changed my direction, changed the way I think, get me motivated. And it took me 25 years, but I looked him dead in the eye. Said, one day, man, I'm going to get so big, so famous, I'm going to tell everybody about what you did to us as a family. And it was laughed at, and I carried that with me forever. I carried that with me through everything I did. Made that movie and went, there you go. Now I go, eat that. I'm trying not to cuss, because when I get emotional, man, I cuss. But I was like, here you go. So I had made, there was something I carried with me through my whole life from that age, that I was going to change my name. I was going to lift my family up. I was going to give them things to smile about. I was going to give them a different, I'm named after the man, and it's just, I made a vow a long time ago. One day, I'm going to make a movie. I'm going to tell everybody about what you did, and people are going to listen. So that's what I did.
Well, based on, some of the stuff you went through, and when I was doing research on this, and a lot of this stuff is well documented. Now, in hindsight, could you say that what you went through helped strengthen you as on a personal level and professional level?
What strengthened me?
Would you say that?
It's a battle. It's well, like I said, I love my little baby Abel, man. I love that kid. My brother Dustin, I love him. My sister Jamaica, my mother, man. My mother went through everything for me to show me, just she didn't give up on us, and she made sure that, and that's what, again, wrestling, coaches saved my life. I don't know, they know. My baby daughter Hayden, she's named after Russ Hayden, the coach at Tahoma. He was my junior high coach, and he coached through high school. And I asked him, I said, hey, man, can I want to name my daughter after you. And so his last name, I didn't want to name her Russ. So that's, I named her Hayden. So I'm very thankful for all the people that have taken the time to help mentor me, because I was lacking one. I didn't have that adult mentor. And that's, something I wanted to do for my son. And that's why I want to help, help bullied kids, help battered women, children. And that's, it's never fly solo. And the things that we do is, I want to be that. It's my turn. It's my turn to become a coach. It's my turn to be a person that might be able to direct and help people along the way. And I can't thank them enough. And beyond that, the one thing that I cannot thank more than anything, obviously, the powers that be and the people that have gotten me where I've gotten to, they know. I don't need to try and read off a list of 5,000 people. But the reality is, man, the fans, the mean ones, the awesome ones, the ones in the middle, to this day, they still, I love talking to them. I love meeting them. And if anybody's ever known, like, you hear this interview, I can talk. I love talking. I got social anxiety, so I'll sit there quiet. I don't want to interrupt anybody. I don't want to bother anybody. I don't feel like calling people. I don't call them because I don't want to talk to them. I don't call them because I'm like, I don't want to bug them. So I just sit in the corner. Like right now, I'm looking at all these people in here, and I'm watching them wrestle and stuff like that, and I'm off in the corner. I'm just quiet. You know what I mean? And so, I don't know. Those are the things that stuck with me and motivated me, and helped me.
Well, if I may remove my show host hat in favor of one as a fan, I got to say that your story, and based on what you're saying, I'm taking so much out of it. It's tremendously inspirational, whether you know it or not. I'm tremendously inspired, as I know our listeners are, and I'm sure everyone that that you have in your life are thinking the same thing. You're a tremendous inspiration to us all.
Well, I really appreciate it. And like I said, the hardest thing is again, social anxiety. It's terrible. I'm trying to, post and put up videos and, and hang out on Twitter and not just retweet what people are doing and stuff. But the reality is, it's tough, man. The social anxiety, it's hard. And like I said, I don't even know how to explain it, but if people say, hey, it means a lot to read it, and I hope people understand that when I reply back, and that when they say things that, hey, what you did helped me, what you did, that means the world to me, because in a world where you can be broke down on the side of the road and you know what I mean, and your family and your car breaks down, and there's so many cars will just whip by you and never stop. For people to take the time out of their day, their schedule, their life, just to talk to you for 5, 10, 15 seconds, I don't know if people really truly grasp it. That's an amazing gift that they're giving you. And I've always looked at that, and I've been so thankful. Even the negative ones, hey, you know what? If you really have to see that and you really want me to know that you hate me, awesome. That, you know, hey, at least I know you hate me. And I don't know. So I guess maybe I look at things differently. But that's the one thing I've always been so thankful, because no matter what, you know, sometimes it's embarrassing to not be, quote unquote, rich, and it's embarrassing to have lost, or it's embarrassing to have, you know, tried to struggle at the end of my career. But I just don't. I think a lot of people have made it so cool, because I think they understand the struggle. When I got into this sport, there wasn't even 155 pounds. It was legal in 3 states, and it wasn't even on TV. And there was no Vegas. There was no, you know, but I did it because that was the thing that could help me. It would keep me in a direction. It would allow me to figure out the man I want to be, the person I want to become. And then when I started meeting people, I just like, oh, this is, you know, I just love the fact that they take 10 seconds out of the day, and I've always thought that was such an incredible gift to get from people. And it's helped me a lot, realize to stop hanging my head, stop measuring myself against others and what they've achieved and accomplished, and look at what I do have before God comes in and snatches something like that from me, and then I'm left with remorse and regret. Oh my God, you know what I mean? I don't want to have that kind of shocking moment happen, you know, so I try to love the people that are near me and show them every day, man, I love you, and something happens. And, you know, I don't want to be that guy so wrapped up in my own BS that it takes some kind of shocking moment to, you know, and it's, again, having people relate, having people that, you know, leave comments and stuff, it helps me battle that social anxiety like nobody could even ever understand. And to be able to give back and coach and talk to kids and speak, that's the one thing I want to do more than life itself, man, is be able to speak publicly and help people. But again, social anxiety, and I don't really know how to.
Well, I think people, those that are familiar with the circumstances and your whole upbringing and all that, I think they truly understand where the social anxiety comes from. At least those that are familiar with what, you know, you've been throughout your whole life. And for me, if I had to say something to you, I would say never underestimate how much people appreciate your story, how much they appreciate you, because right now someone out there is going through something similar, and they look at your story, because I know I would. If I was going through that, I would look at your story and look at it for inspiration.
It means the world to you and if they take the time. Again, it's an incredible thing to, even if they're reading it and it's helping them, is one thing. But if they're reading it and it's helping them and then they reply, I mean, I've had people drop me straight to tears. I mean, I've had people say that, and it forced it, because again, I'd never think, oh, what I've done is so cool, or I'm so awesome. Look at me, you know. I've never. In fact, it's been too much the other way. I'm embarrassed. I'm quiet. I'm just like, oh man, you know what I mean? I battle back and forth. It's such a teeter-totter. So again, when people take the time to do that, it hits me, man. It hits like a brick, and I'm so thankful, because I don't. Same reason why I don't do, you know, I never did seminars, and I had a hard time, even when the Ultimate Fighter, when I was, you know, coaching the team, is I really felt like, man, don't nobody want to hear me. Don't nobody want me to, you know, they're not going to show up. Nobody, you know, but that's, again, but also what it is nobody wants to hear you cry and talk about, oh, woe is me, and feel bad for yourself. So it's like, I just sit there and shut up. Just don't say nothing. You know, it's because you got to learn. But like I said, man, when people to know that I'm helping somebody, and I always talk about that, to never fly solo, the grizzly bear amongst rabbits, you know, that kind of thing. To know that there's some kid out there and they need to have that beacon, that person that I'll stand against the grain, man. I'll be that oak. I'll stick my hand out. I'll help you. I'll lift you up. I'll help you change your direction. And it's the same thing I say in fighting. do as I say, not as I do, because I'm just as whacked out. You know what I mean? I'll tell my fighters to go ahead and move, slip punches, and do this. And towards the end of my career, I just stood there and ate them like they were sandwiches. So it's try to do as I say, not as I do. But along the way, I'm learning do as I do and as I say. So, you know, again, I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful for my wife, and I'm very thankful for my kids, and again, coaches and mentors and my friends, and you know, my little brother, you know, and my brothers, Robbie Lawler, Matt Hughes, Jeremy Horn, Tim Sylvia, Tony Griffin. I could just keep running them off. I'm so thankful for all of them because, you know, they got Monty Cox, you know, I mean, Brian Butler. I can just keep going, but they, you know, they understood, and they give me that power, you know, that ability to move past it and focus.
Well, that's very, very well said, Jens. Now, if I had to ask you, what was the most gratifying moment of your career?
I don't know. I mean, obviously you have to say the world title, because I think what we just celebrated its birthday. I figured when the first time we got to fight for that 155-pound world title, and Kel Uno and I fought for that belt, I would say that would be the birthday of the lightweight division. So, you know, I was tweeting, yeah, happy birthday, you know, and it was happy birthday World 55. And so you have to say that, but above that, because I set out to change my name, and I set out to, again, give my family the ability. You know, my little brother, you know, he goes, man, people walk up and talk to me because I'm your brother, and that's the only gift I could give my mother. Same thing. The best way to show her, man, I love you and I appreciate everything you did for me, is she can walk around and like, man, your son, you know, I loved him. He gave 110% out there in that cage. He was, but more importantly, he was a down-to-earth kid, and he talked to us and he met us. And I just want to say, to have somebody say that to my mom, I mean, that's the greatest gift I could give to my family. It's beyond. There is no value. You can't put nothing on that, you know, and it's, I don't know. So that winning that belt obviously was a monster, because it allowed me to achieve the goal that I set out to do when I got on that train for 3 days, and I came out to Iowa, and I got to meet Pat and Monty Cox and the team, you know, the MFF team. But then again, you know, like I said, I had a war with Stephen Pauling, and, you know, it was one of my favorite fights on the planet, not so much because I won, but because I gained a soul brother after that. You know what I mean? He was a family member still to this day. Love that man. Love his family. And that's a lot of people don't understand it. And we beat the dang out of each other. You know what I'm saying? A guy like Uriah Faber. Love him. I think he's phenomenal. I got to talk to Tyson Griffin. I didn't even realize how cool that kid was. You know, I mean, phenomenal. You know, and so, like I said, I have to, and I'm very appreciative for every fight, win, lose, or draw. Like, here's one of the worst beatings I ever took. Oh, I talked to Tim Elliott the other day. I'm like, man, I wish you the best. If there's anything I can do, you let me know. I love that kid. You know what I'm saying? So it's, again, you turn it on and turn it off. And so I couldn't really say the defining moments other than I'm just very thankful to be a part of the UFC, and to see from where we started to the monster it became is just phenomenal. And now I'm sitting back with MMA Futures, a show we're starting to do in Lincoln and Kearney. I mean, because I'm in Kearney, there in Lincoln and Omaha, is the MMA needs help. UFC is a monster, but MMA as a whole, grassroots, small story, it needs to grow. And so I figured that's a good place to be. It's a good spot to go around and interview fighters that are just starting out and give them that. I remember I used to get so excited seeing my name. Oh, they mentioned me on MMA Underground. Awesome. Then you see the negatives, so I'm like, damn it, they're saying bad things, but you get to see your name. So to be able to go out there and have gyms call MMA Futures, say, hey, we got a couple of kids, and to be able to go out there and film them, that's phenomenal. We're gonna go stream Kelly Wiseman's show on Saturday. So to start this grassroots campaign to build MMA has kind of been the new goal.
That's as you're getting ready, Jens, as you're getting ready to step away, would you say that MMA as a whole is in a good place right now?
Is what?
Would you say that the sport of MMA is in a very good place right now?
No. MMA, no, it needs to build and grow, and I mean, smaller builder shows. And I'm not allowed to get started. I'm not even going to get started on the amateur, but so I'm just not going to do it. But no, I mean, again, MMA as a whole, again, they need to follow suit. They need to see what the UFC did. But I mean, Strikeforce, of course, was a great show. But WEC, oh my God, they had some of the sickest fights on the planet. Because now that they're part of the UFC, people are loving the damn out of it. But the reality is, those were happening before. But because UFC did such a great job with their brand. And I mean, every day I still tell people, oh, they did a phenomenal job with their brand. They made it a monster. But MMA, we got to, again, I'm talking about the grassroots, the small shows, building this stuff. You know what I mean? And for the fighters and things like that, it needs love. It needs help. You know what I mean? And they could follow the models or the ideas of what the UFC did in the beginning. How the UFC became such a monster, and that's the one thing I love the UFC. It's phenomenal. But MMA, let's not confuse the two. MMA as a whole, we got a whole bunch of growing that we can do.
I completely agree. Now, in terms of women's MMA, do you feel like the Invicta FC as sort of being somewhere like along the lines end up being like the UFC for women?
Well, for women, same thing. I mean, we're talking about the sport of MMA. It could grow, leaps and bounds with women, with guys. I mean, both are doing it. I mean, obviously, you've seen the success of the 135-pound class, and I know they're going to get ready to bump on 115. My little partner, Felice Harris, she's going to be on the Ultimate Fighter, and I mean, there's a lot of great fighters out there. Keith Torres, and there's a lot of 115-pounders. Again, it's the same thing when we were pioneering this in the very beginning. I said a long time ago when I started 155 pounds, my exact words were, I don't want anybody to ever say they're too small to fight in MMA. That's still a goal. Even now as they do 125. I love it. Phenomenal. Maybe there's a 101 down there somewhere. If MMA grew, you know what I mean? Never say, I'm too small. I can't make 170. I'm too small to be a fighter. But, no, man, we can build it. Again, it's MMA. And look at the success of, like a Ronda Rousey. That's one legit, man. That girl is bad. She's awesome. You know what I'm saying? And they're loving the weight class. The fighters did a great job. They're doing a great job. So male, female, it doesn't matter in the aspect of we're trying to build a sport. And you know what? When you go out there to fight, and you go out there to perform, and you go out there to do, to do your quote-unquote job. It doesn't matter, man, if you have long hair, short hair, brown hair, white hair, it doesn't matter if you're male or female. If you go out there and do a great job, the fans love it. So to me, that's all that matters.
Agreed completely. And it's in terms of the lower weight classes, it's really hard to believe, with the state of the weight classes today and how healthy it is, it's hard to believe that back in 2003, after UFC 41 with the, BJ and Cal Ono draw, that the lightweight title was removed from the equation. It's hard to believe that A, it's been 11 years already, and B, that it happened in the first place, given what we know about the lower weight classes now.
Yeah. Y'all trying to bring back one of my biggest God-given regret on the planet. I ain't doing it. I ain't talking about it. But it hurts, and it's hurt for a long time, and it stings. No, it stings, man. I've never been able to fully recover from it, and that's just all I'm saying, man. Am I proud? God, no. Not even. Did I feel like, don't even know. I know is this. I swore when I first started doing interviews, I didn't want to end my career with regrets. All these losses, those aren't even the regrets, man. We just won, and it eats away at me every day. Even when I was back in the UFC, still ate at me. Eats at me all the time. But, I don't know. What are you gonna do? I'll walk the path and pay my dues because I deserve it. But I don't ever want anybody to think I ever bailed on the UFC or I ever stopped believing because I jumped in when nobody even knew what it was. Nobody even knew what the belts were. You know what I mean? They didn't have an idea. We were so happy just to be in Vegas. We were flipping out. Atlantic City was incredible. So that wasn't the case at all, man. It's just, I don't know. Like I said, it sucks to be in that position. It sucks to even, I don't even know if I could, with again social anxiety, I don't even know if I deserved to have that belt. I just, because then it started making it more towards, I don't know, whatever, you know. I mean, it's my fault. All I can do is hang my head. That's what I did.
Well, I think if there's one thing that...
Man, y'all getting the most amazing damn interview ever. You hit me in the right spot. Good Lord. All right. Awesome. Go ahead. I'm just like, dang. Man, people going to ask this. They don't ask something. God knows what they ask. Go ahead.
Well, for me, Jens, I try to get the right blend of personal and professional because I care more. I mean, we know Jens Pulver, the fighter, but it's very important to not lose touch of Jens Pulver, the man, because at the end of the day,
yeah, I'm
you're
learning.
a regular person. You're a person like us, And to be
honest, no, without a doubt.
When it comes to MMA, I don't think any. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, sorry about that. When it comes to records in MMA, I don't think anyone cares about that because you've consistently fought the best of the best. And just the fact that you have a winning record, you won the UFC title, you made it past your bad past, you made it past all of that. I mean, you're a champion in all our books. I feel like you're not told that enough. So I'm telling you as a fan and as the host of this show, and as a matter of fact, the owner of our website says you're a huge inspiration. You give them the motivation to fight, continue fighting and go forward, Jens. And I just think it's time that you knew that and you know how inspirational.
No, I mean, a lot, man. Shoot, y'all just, trying to choke me up. Stop it. No, that's real cool, And I think people, it's hard because now it is becoming such a phenomenon. Again, UFC is getting so big and it's becoming mainstream, and I'm so proud of them because I remember when they wanted that, when they said it was going to happen, and they knew it, they believed it, and I always knew it and believed it because, believe it or not, I wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't have got on a train for 3 days and showed up with just 2 duffel bags and no money, and thank God for Monty letting me stay at his house, for a month and a half when I first got there, and Militich and, picking me up the first day and sleeping at the gym. And, if I didn't believe that this sport was going to be something, and it means a lot to say. And I hope people understand I'm not searching. And I really appreciate you saying that, but I don't search for it. I don't want, if I always just trying to milk some kind of cool saying or someone says something cool to them, a cool comment. Not it, man. I'm trying to learn how to be a phenomenal, a great husband and a phenomenal daddy. And I mean, that's if you go back, and I've had to get snapped back into reality a few times, and I even look at it, if I can walk away when it's all said and done, and I'll have met my best friend, and I'll have my kids, and I can raise them differently than, you know what I mean? So, dude, I'm sitting there in public, and you're damn near going to get me to, I start talking about my kids, and I'll melt. So I'm trying to, I got to hold it. But that to me is that is the goal. My son is 5, my daughter is 10, and my little Hayden is, she'll be 3 in May, and my wife is, she's busting her butt, and she's changing hers. She's building her dreams, and it's so awesome to support her. And ultimately, when it's all said and done, my family, my friends, the fans, that's all that it means. That's all that matters to me. I'll figure the rest out, and I'm enjoying it every day. I really am starting to enjoy learning how to do it. And like I said, I'm even starting to enjoy coaching. I'm starting to have fun coaching, and I'm figuring it out every day. Man, there wasn't a playbook. There really wasn't a playbook that I could follow on how to deal with getting older. So I'm learning on a daily.
Well, like I always say, you got to learn something new every day. Well, Jens, we're running short on time. I hate to have to cut you off.
Yeah, buddy. I will smoke that time. That's what I do. Thank you.
And I'll be here till 5, 6 in the morning if I have to talking to you.
Yes, sir.
I want to extend the invitation. Anytime you want to come on, I would have you every week if I could.
Beautiful. I appreciate it.
it's a tremendous honor, Jen. I'm a fan for life.
Thank you very much.
Well before this, and I'm a huge fan after this, as well as my whole team here. So thank you again, and I hope you have a very good weekend, sir.
Yeah, sir, I will, brother, I will. And like I said, I'm going to do, like I said, if you do the MMA futures or follow me on Twitter, you know, the Jens_Pulver, and or Facebook. And we'll be streaming live from Kelly Wiseman's show in North Platte. But above that, then we're going to head down I got to go to Erie, Indiana, because my boy Rafi Onstott's going to, this will be his first time. So I'm taking these kids straight from the mat, you know what I mean? So it's going to be his first go, and then Josh is going to fight in the RFA in Wyoming, April 11th. So, like I said, you get to watch him. TJ Hepburn just won the last RFA, and Enrique Torres just got their W's here, you know, from the 802. So, like I said, it's been a lot of fun, but we'll see what happens. I appreciate it. Y'all just stay in touch. And, like I said, man, chin down, hands up. Every day we battle. See what happens.
Yeah, we absolutely will. Then take care of yourself.
Okay, brother. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, bye.